also an online SaaS solution. So that's my background. In the middle of 500 startups in Dinero, I also became a professional public speaking and startup pitch coach, and I built deck software. So I've seen just a lot of startup pitch decks. I've judged many pitch competitions. And again, right now I'm helping 36 companies get ready for demo day here in San Francisco. So that's a little bit about me. The goal today is to give a few minutes of tips of do's and don'ts on pitching. And then I would love to just start hearing pitches, because the best way is just to have everybody, or as many people as we can, pitch. Just a couple of things, Burak. Can you remind me how long people will have?
I mean, we have 60 minutes, but it depends on the...
I meant on the pitch length for the competition.
2.5 minutes. I think Andrea has dropped down, so we wait a couple of minutes for her. Yes, me too. Video has disappeared. That's true, Ziad. So let's wait for a couple of minutes. I can answer your questions. Andrea is over there. Yes, she's there.
I'm here. I think it just started the screen sharing and it had to restart. Right. Awesome. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, I can see it. I think the others as well.
Can you see it just says art of the pitch?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. All right, it's working. So I hope I'm not going to be able to see the typing answers because my screen's in full screen. So if someone has a question or I need to stop, Burak, would you just kind of chime in?
All right, I can also read the questions to you. So
that would be perfect. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So again, my name is Andrea Barrica, and today we're going to be talking about pitching. I am currently a venture partner, which is on the investment team at 500 startups. So my background is pretty simple. I co-founded a company called Dinero. Dinero was a Y Combinator and 500 startups invested company. I started a project called SlideChef where I was actually building deck software, and now I invest in companies from all over the world at 500 startups. So again, that's just my background. And today we're going to talk about pitching. And the problem with pitching is that what people say, what they mean to say, and what the audience actually hears often does not translate. And so what we see is a lot of slides that look like this and just a ton of terrible pitches all the time. And so I want to help all of you when you go on stage to pitch at Startup Istanbul, can avoid that. And so I have just prepared just a few quick do's and don'ts to share with all of you. And then we will go into live mentoring where people will pitch and we will go through and I'll give feedback and help kind of hopefully give people a good sense of what judges and what the audience will be thinking and looking for. Great. And Burak, can you remind me what's the pitch length on stage?
2.5 minutes again.
12 minutes. Okay. All right. So
no, 2.5 minutes.
2.5. Okay, I was like, whoa.
Yes.
Okay, 2.5 is great. 2.5 is perfect. So at demo day, we also keep length at 2 to 2.5. So that's very good. All right, so don't number one that I'm going to go over is it's important that when you're going through a process that you kind of step away from the slides first. It's very obvious to us as investors when something, especially on a competition, was created slides first. People go on the internet, they find the slides that say, problem, solution, market, and these are not compelling and these are not a good place to start because it's really especially for a 2.5 minute pitch, it's more important to figure out right away what is the single takeaway of my pitch, what are people going to remember after my pitch. So if it's is it traction, is it your team? Is it something that's really special? And the worst thing you can do is try to have too many takeaways of your pitch. And that's probably the number one mistake we see is too many details, overly going over product, and not being very clear about what the audience and what the judges and what the investors are going to remember. So instead of kind of opening a PowerPoint file and going right into it, I always tell people, like, take out a journal, take out a piece of paper, and write down, like, what if I went up to somebody after your pitch and asked them, what do you remember about this pitch? What would you want them to say? And definitely a takeaway is always like, is it clear? And if it's clear, then what is now very interesting about this team, or this traction? So that's the first don't. The number one is the story. Like, another reason why we don't want to see like us, kind of a very generic deck template that you get online with you when you have, problem, traction. It's very simple. And so what I tell people to do instead is to tell a very strategic story. So for example, instead of me saying my company, has a great engagement, you can just make the claim. Instead, you could talk about how, you have a customer that signed on, and the first day they opened your app or your product, they use it over 100 times. That's a story that someone told at our demo day, because they had an app where you could record dance videos, and they had a dancer, immediately come on that was pretty famous and just kept opening and opening the app. And that was not only memorable, but it was strategic because we all could remember that, oh, okay, this app is obviously very engaging, but they did it through a story, not through just making these claims in a pitch. So that's another thing that I would suggest, is finding one really good story to add. And it's not always like how we came up with this idea, and it's not always a customer story. It can be a lot of different stories. And so throughout the session today, I hope to hear like any interesting stories, and I'll be very honest about whether I think it's strategic. And the question to always think about is, how does this story help you achieve your goal? So for example, the engagement story is really important because that was definitely the most interesting thing about that company. They didn't have a ton of users yet. They didn't have, the best, they weren't monetizing very well, but they had just this very, very strong engagement. So the goal of getting invested for them was all around that, like achieving that story and achieving that point. So that's why stories, like too many stories, don't your goal, because people just get bored, or they don't really get the takeaway that you're trying to communicate. And the do number two is knowing your secret sauce. This is sometimes known as like knowing your moat, differentiation, all of this. And the interesting thing about this, because I've heard so many startup pitches, is that many people really don't know what their secret sauce is, or they think it's something that it's not. And so a good way to go is, what is most compelling about your business? And it's very important that you ask a lot of people about what this is, and don't just ask your co-founders, especially if the co-founders are very product heavy or technical. Very technical, very product heavy companies tend to just pitch their product and pitch features of their product. And they don't actually think about what's most compelling about the business. It could be a very differentiated hack on distribution. It could be a very differentiated hack on the team that gives them an unfair advantage. So this is also known as unfair advantage. And cheat sheet that I like to put in order is, most startups fall into this category, and it is actually in order of importance. Like if you have $1 million of revenue, or if you have, a ton of users, that's attraction. Like that's definitely what's most compelling about you, is going to be your traction, your revenue, right? But a lot of teams don't have this. And so the next thing that can be really like compelling for investors is team. And a lot of people say team, but they don't really tell you what they mean. So I'm going to just tell you what people mean. They mean, has this team executed in the past? Do they have a previous exit? Have they worked in brands that leverage a lot of network and power? So these are like your ex-Google, first hire at WhatsApp. These kind of things, or just a deep knowledge about the space, and then you can quantify that by years. So it's definitely team next. Product's probably third. Like if it is a very technical, or there's something about the product that is extremely special, then that can be definitely next. And then the fourth thing, and if you don't have traction and you don't have a stellar team and your product's not that good, you're probably going to be pitching your vision. And the key to vision pitches is that you have to be amazing at pitching. So typically you find that like if you see a team or a product that gets funded or wins a pitch competition and you didn't think their pitch was that good, they probably had the numbers, the traction, the revenue to back it up, or a stellar team, or just like an unbelievable product. But if you see a vision pitch win, or if you see a team with not one, two, or three, get funded, they probably have just such an amazing vision and storytelling ability. So that's typically like how I think about this hierarchy, and a lot of investors do as well. Don't number two is not really going to be, this is more general. This is in your life, not like for this competition. But I always tell people not to be a one pitch pony, meaning that you're going to have a different pitch for different audiences. So if you were pitching to only investors, you need an investor pitch. If you're pitching to customers, that's going to be a very different pitch. Like one of the top mistakes I see is that people keep doing the same exact pitch for such different audiences. And the most common reason we hate a pitch is because it's a sales pitch. They're trying to sell us a product. But as investors, we don't care. We don't give a shit about the product at all, honestly. We give a shit about the business, the opportunity, and the things that we've been talking about, the team and the traction. Whereas customers of your product don't give a shit about the market. They only care about the pain. So I always say, prepare a different pitch for each audience. Because when people say know your audience, they typically don't tell you to make more than one pitch, and so that advice can be really useless. So this is not really relevant for this pitch competition, but in your like entrepreneurial and founder journeys, like make sure you have a different pitch, and also for recruiting. Your pitch to new people you want to bring onto your team should also be different. So yes, in your life cycle, definitely create more than one pitch. Moving on. So do number three, we're going to do this today because we have, 2.5 minutes is a good amount, but I always like to make people pass the 60-second test with their pitch. And that is, pitch me in 60 seconds and will I know what's most interesting about you, or will I want to have a second conversation? That's always like such an important test. I started a group here in San Francisco called Pitch Masters, and we do this 60-second test, and entrepreneurs find that they really understand like what they're doing wrong, because it's very difficult to tell someone your company in 60 seconds, which is why it's a thing. So this is good to do with friends before you go to the conference, because you're constantly having to pitch somebody random in the elevator, someone on the conference floor, and you probably need to know your 60-second version, which should be a very brief version of your 2.5 minute. And if they're wildly different, there's usually something wrong. And the real kind of final point here is that no one is as interested in you as you think they are, which is why the 60-second test and 60-second rule is that important. The last delivery tip is the 20-to-1 rule. So the 20-to-1 rule is pretty simple. It's practice out loud 20 minutes for every 1 minute of your presentation. And for all of you competing, I would say 100 minutes. And that's just really important because delivery is often the least prepared, but it can be the most impactful. So definitely do not forget to practice your delivery. And this rule is a rule that a lot of professional speakers do. And out loud should be in front of people, and 100% trying to copy what the experience will be, if possible, at Startup Istanbul. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This is my contact info. And I'd like to kind of transition out. I will kind of switch my screen back and we will start. And I would like to hear some pitches.
Great. Who is first?
Excuse me.
Who would like to? All right, moment. Just a second. I will give you.
Yeah. I might re-add myself for. Okay, one moment.
All right.
We're here. Okay, awesome. First
All
of all,
right.
does anybody have any, first of all, before we get started, does anyone have any questions? I know I went through that really quickly, but I wanted to make sure we had time to hear pitches. Does anyone have any questions?
I think Martin has one.
Yes, Martin from Budapest. Hi. What's your question? You go and type it.
Dad.
Hey, is that my cue to pitch?
No, well, you can sure, we can. Is that your hack to get first? I don't know.
I don't know, but I think God just helped me out right there. He
All
hacked
right.
it.
Mohammed, I mean, you are on the line.
Okay,
now
cool.
everyone can hear you, but there's a question. Where do you suggest that we have got 300 minutes of airtime in front of people? Martin asks.
It sounds like your presentations are 2.5 minutes, right? So that would be like 40 minutes. So this is practice on your own time with groups that you assemble before you go to Startup Istanbul. So I'm giving a talk at Startup Istanbul. My talk is about 30 minutes. So I am going to do my talk out loud like a lot. Like I will try to do, probably 20 full run-throughs of my pitch. And sound is choppy. Can people hear me?
It is fine now.
Okay.
I think somewhere it may be because of the connection. It is perfect in Gaza, so.
Awesome. Okay, sorry. Just let me know if you want me to stop and slow down. So the minutes that I'm telling you to practice out loud. You should be finding your own groups out before Startup Istanbul to practice your out loud pitch. You will not get that here. Screen mirroring. So someone's asking about, given that's only, would you recommend PowerPoint only, screen mirroring, or a mix? So today, I just want to hear the verbal pitch. Like, I have to tell you, slides are not that important. In a competition, slides are not that important. Can everyone hear me?
It is fine here.
Okay. So slides are not, so today we are just going to hear like people pitch. I don't want to go through the kind of the point of having people share their screens. As long as the slides are clean, they're not distracting. And for 2.5 minutes, you should only have like 7 to 8 like content slides, aside from the intro and the final slide.
Any questions more? You read the question. You didn't mention anything about the slide that
Yes.
talks about the problem.
So you definitely will have slides in the in your startup. And I'm not saying it's not like it shouldn't be nice. I'm just saying today I'm more interested in hearing that people can tell their story. You will create slides, and they should have you should have 7 to 8 content slides. And problem, someone asked about whether a problem should be there. Absolutely. It just, it's about whether it's it's about whether it fits in the overall story. So I hope that makes sense. Borik, I don't want people to be too confused. It's just today I just want to hear people tell their story.
Yes, I mean, for to clear the also adding a point, today we are going to listen only kind of your pitches from your voice, but you have to prepare your slides for the 2.5 minutes pitch at Startup Istanbul.
Okay, so maybe we should just get started.
Yes, Mohammed was online.
Yeah, it's not just the elevator pitch. I'm happy to hear the whole 2 minutes as long and give feedback there. It 2.5 is not like, if we have, I mean, not everyone will be able to go, but people, I'm assuming, can get a lot from hearing me mentor other people. So, Burak, if you want to just pick a few people to get started, we can just do that.
All right, Mohammed is online. I think Mohammed, you can unmute yourself. Yes, he's online and he's going to pitch 2.5 minutes. Mohammed, do you hear me?
Yes.
All right, ready? Go.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Andrea. My name is Mohammed, and I represent WePress. WePress is an app, and what we do is we make it simpler to find and commission freelance journalism professionals. So we did some research, and we found out that 53 million Americans are freelancing today in 2015. So that's 34% of the total workforce. And we did some further studies, well, some research, and we found out that that figure is going to increase to 50% of the workforce. This is an American statistic. So we looked at, wait, how is that going to impact the journalism industry? And it's going to impact it even worse. Today, there's about 30 today there's less people in full-time jobs in the journalism industry than there were pre-1970s. So how have we turned this into an opportunity? So we saw that the rate of full-time employment in the journalism industry is going down. So we thought, okay, we need to put together a freelance management system that allows publishers and broadcasters to manage this freelance workforce. So the other thing we did was we also spoke to people, journalists, producers, editors, copy editors, translators, just everybody in the industry, and we asked them, listen, what are the problems, what are the challenges that you're facing? And the first challenge that they faced was they have no home. So LinkedIn is for everybody. There are job sites where you can look for jobs. There's Behance for designers, but there's nothing. There's no platform, no ecosystem for journalists. So we said, okay, we can create a directory that contains the broadest, the broadest spectrum of journalism professionals in the world. So it's not just for journalists. You can find certified translators, you can find media researchers and cameramen and photographers and whatnot. The second challenge that they told us about was, they have all these ideas for stories, pitches, but they write them on pieces of paper or they exist on their computers. So, if that's how they store their pitches, that means nobody else can see them unless they send them to you.
Is this launched?
Yes, it has launched. Yeah, we launched 2 months ago.
This pitch there's way too much product before. Like I don't know if it's launched yet. Sorry, I want to make sure that we can do a lot of active pitching. So it's launched. How many people are using it on both sides?
So we launched on the 1st of July and we have about 600 users right now.
Okay.
So we have 600 users.
Journalists, people who want to get jobs, and then so it's like is this work like a marketplace?
Absolutely. So it's part community. So we've created a directory where you can create a kind of Twitter-like profile, and you could add all your social networks. You could add your latest work, but it all fits in an app on a mobile full screen. But also it's a marketplace, absolutely, where you can park your pitches, and even editors and producers can place briefs, and then the whole thing runs itself. So you can.
Okay. Is it like who has anyone has any transaction been facilitated on this platform or marketplace?
So the majority of our time has been spent growing our user base, and we are at a stage right now where our users are starting to use it to connect with each other, because it's almost impossible to do that on Facebook and LinkedIn, and Twitter is just too broad. So now we're at a stage where people are starting to post pitches. So they're like, wow, this is convenient.
Growth. Like, how has this 600 users grown in the last few months?
So we're growing at the rate of 100 new users a week. And the way we do.
You launched, okay, so it's July. So let me look at the calendar. So this is going really quickly now. So you can probably have a graph where the users are going up on the supply side, which is the journalist side. Okay, so when you're building a marketplace, one side always grows faster than the other. But there are 2 questions come to my mind, which is, are there where's the demand side at all? I know you're building the supply side, and are they bringing their own demand? I'm thinking about this stuff. Why are you the team to do this? So why don't you just kind of keep going to team?
Yeah.
Like
So
half the detail that you've brought up on product is not needed in this pitch.
right.
Just be really just to like just help you like bring the things that I care about. If it's launched and if there's users, you should make that clear. And then like you kind of went into the market and what you do at the beginning, the elevator, and you need to be very clear. Like we are building a marketplace so that I can start like kind of like grounding what you're really doing. This is very common in pitches that people like to just like jump into a story. And again, I love stories. So the market story you told is interesting. Like there's going to be, like the kind of how the industry is changing, but you have to center me in like what you actually are, because I'm kind of like distracted. If I were judging this pitch, I'd be like, what the fuck are you? Right? So it's a marketplace, it's launched, there's 600 users, you're growing really quickly. You can say your week over week growth, right away, just so we know that, okay, like this definitely is like, because then you don't have to talk so much about the product. We'll just know it's working because people are signing up, right?
Gotcha.
What's the team?
So the team is I'm a film producer. So I'm the host and producer of a travel show. We broadcast to 50 million people, but I don't have a film background. I just have a passion for telling stories. And it was really difficult for me to find producers and directors and writers. It's almost impossible. So what happens is, you end up going on Facebook and Twitter and asking your friends to recommend people. So it came out of personal pain, so that's something that I experienced. And my co-founder, Erbil, I'm from the UAE, he's from Turkey, and he's launched a few apps in the past, and he's super,
So your whole team section can be said in 2.5 sentences. Like, hi, I'm a well-known TV artist. Like I've broadcasted over 50 million people, and my co-founder has launched many apps. It's like, that's it. That's all we need to know. So when I say we want to hear team, it has to be like tight, everybody, it has to be very tight. So that's what I would bring up in your pitch. And then I would like cut down all of the, like, you really try to convince us of the problem. I'm with you on the problem, but what you did not convince me of is whether your solution is A, working, or B, going to solve that problem. That's like to everybody who's going to pitch. Oftentimes, like the judges see the problem you're solving. We're not like, we rarely think what you're saying is not a problem. We just don't believe often that what you're building will solve that problem. And the way that you convince us that you will solve it is by talking about the traction, and talking, and talking about like how you're going to acquire, like, it depends. You can't add everything, but you have to pick one thing that's really compelling and then like develop that story. I thought that the way you developed the market was good. And it's interesting. I would just precede it with a more direct, like, what you are statement before you start, like a 6-word what you are statement right when you introduce yourself.
Cool.
Okay. I hope that was okay. Great. Thank you so much.
Yes.
What was your name?
My name's Mohammed.
Mohammed, it was wonderful to hear your pitch. Thank you. I look forward to seeing it on stage.
Thank you.
Mohammed, thank you. And the next one is Martin.
I have a lot of okay, now it's good, because it was kept saying that my line is muted and unmuted, so sorry for this confusion. Let me get into it. So what we do is we help photographers, amateur and semi-amateur, professionals and semi-professionals to sort their pictures, because we found that after talking to a lot of photographers that this is a real pain point for them. So when you're at a wedding for one day, for example, you spend the next 2 days sorting the pictures to find the good ones that you need to deliver to the client. So we use machine learning and special algorithms. So it's kind of like an AI to have to help the photographers sort their pictures. We don't delete, we don't do the work for them. We facilitate the artistic process that they really need. And you might ask that why do we target the professional and semi-professional photographers, and why not the iPhone photographers, because they also have thousands of pictures. Well, basically, it's not a pain point for them, because what you do is you only buy like more storage on iCloud, or you buy a bigger hard drive. but the professional photographers need to deliver. So after talking to a lot of them, we actually found out that a lot of the professionals actually outsource this process. So after seeing our product, we haven't launched yet. We had a soft launch in Hungary. We went to a big like a photographer conference. So there were like 500 photographers. Out of those 500, 300 signed up for our preview. It's not even a beta yet. And out of those 300, more than 100 use it regularly on a weekly basis and are giving us feedback. We have two co-founders. They both have a core business. They've been in technology for the past 15 years. They have information technology companies. They've launched a couple of products. They are working for different clients in the European Union. And we actually won a research and development grant for this project. And that ran out this June. We put out the preview this June. And now we're looking to raise $200,000 US dollars to get to the international market and to get into America.
Nice. At least you had an ask. Good one. Everybody follow that. He has an ask at the end. Interesting. Good.
Well, it's not the 2 or 3 minute pitch because we have a lot of graphics that that details the market.
You need to slow down. Everybody here who's pitching, you're going to need to slow down. So that makes sense. And honestly, too, we love it when pitches don't go the full length of time. Do not be afraid to come up, like, make a big statement, like, drop your traction on everybody, drop your idea, then go. Like, it's okay to be shorter. Absolutely. Okay, so you haven't launched and you have a very technical, so AI for photography. It's like AI for professional photographers. Be, like, super clear about that right away. Okay, you don't have, you kind of, the way you talk about your product took a long time, and it's okay to, like, kind of center people and then talk about, like, what you do and the problem. The people signed up for preview. What's the model going to be one day? Like, how does this become a business? Like, what is, like, you have 300 out of 500 that signed up for a preview. Like, what's the pricing model going to be? Is it just going to be like pure SaaS? Like, I didn't understand how this was going to be a business ever.
Software as a solution. So the algorithm runs in the cloud on a distributed architecture, and we only analyze the pictures. We don't need the pictures to be uploaded anywhere, and we will send back the results of the algorithms, and it will be sorted out on the client computer. We have multi-platform, so we support Windows, Mac OS. We will have the iPad, the iOS version coming out soon. So basically, we will have multi-platform and multi-user support.
Okay, so top tips for you is be clear about what you do and be able to say it, like, slow down and say, like, hi, what was your name?
Martin.
Hi, yeah. I'm Martin. I am the co-founder of
Picturesque,
and we are building AI for we are bringing SaaS, like, for like an AI tool, an AI SaaS tool for professional photographers. Mm-hmm. Stop.
Okay.
Then go, it has, just stop, let that land on people, right? You can't just get up there and just, like, start talking. This is the first time people are going to hear about this. And it's fairly interesting. I mean, this is a very straightforward technology pitch. So to be honest with you, like, whatever business you do create from it, it's probably not, like, the market for this is not, like, as interesting as probably, like, what technology this can, like, get, put into or inserted into. So I definitely think, like, you talking a lot about the team, and don't get too into the details of technologies. Just get into the details of what is this built? Like, who else is working on this? Like, what I'm thinking during your pitch is, like, who is anyone else working on this? Like, what's the differentiation between what's out there? Yeah. And, like, that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, we have a very nice slide that explains the market situation now. There's nobody at the sorting niche. So there's a lot of programs that you can use to edit pictures, and there are a lot of programs that you can use to organize them. But there's virtually no product that you can use to sort pictures as a photographer would sort them.
And I mean, definitely, like, talk about the market for this kind of software.
Mm-hmm. So basically, what we found is a lot of companies are in the in the picture game. But the thing is that this market is kind of a niche market. So we found that with 10% market penetration by the end of the second year, we will have about $60 million in revenue yearly. And it's not a big market, but so for Google, it's not worth going after. But for us and for a startup, we're looking to get a professional acqui-hire as an exit. So it's kind of worth going after.
Okay. Makes sense. Wouldn't go too much into the future, by the way, like future forecast. I don't know what the other judges in Burek. Well, I don't know who is judging. Burek, am I a judge? I don't even know.
I mean, you are at the judge on the 3rd of October.
Okay, so I am.
And
good.
which will be going to select the finalists, which Dave McClure will be the jury at the finals. Steve
Okay.
Dave
good.
McClure.
I know Steve and I know Dave very, very well. So I'm going to give you all a hint. They hate future forecasting stuff. Don't talk. You're not fortune tellers.
Thank
You're
you
not
very
fortune
much.
tellers. You're not
Yeah.
fortune tellers. So saying like by the end of next year we're going to have $60 million. That's like you're not fortune tellers, and so that typically is like a bad thing to do. So talk about like how you're going to get it. Like how are you going to like get even just like your users now? Like how's it going to become? Focus on the tech, like, but in a clear way. Like I hate telling you to focus on your technology and you go up there and just talk about all the features. That's not what I'm talking about. It's like how does the tech fit in and all of that.
Sana o yüzden ya you are not presenter yazdı. Bir şeyler yanlış gitti orada.
Sorry, voice.
Hello.
Yes,
Okay.
it's fine. Now,
Please free.
okay, go on.
Ben miyim?
Hello.
And
Hi.
what you were saying.
Yes. All right. So I should get this next one probably, Martin, if
right.
you're present. Okay. All right. Ahmet, do you hear me?
Yes, I do hear you.
Yes, it is now your turn.
All right, thank you. Hi, Andrea. This is Ahmet from Istanbul, from 10X Zone. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Great. Okay. So our product is a cloud-based marketing and promotion platform. And what we are aiming to do is to make our platform as the red laser for the receipts. And we have recognized that one of the greatest difficulties of making a promotion based on proof of purchase is creating ways either to create unique codes on the packages to identify the user for giving them a chance to win something, or you have to go for the sales channel into their cash registry software integrations for granting the user some loyalty benefits. And we have solved that problem by identifying the proof of purchase from the receipt itself, and we have a proprietary solution for that. And it's working, and it has the application is online, and we are the traction with companies like McDonald's in Turkey, and it worked very well. And almost 5,000 people have participated. 2 different campaigns of McDonald's in Turkey when they introduced their new McD cafes in and around. So we have identified also that there is a chicken and egg problem in this type of applications and platforms, which means that if there is no promotion around, there is no need for the user to keep the application in his smartphone, and there is a difficulty of getting the whole time engagement. So we find a new feature that we think we will keep the customer always engaged with the application, although when there's not even thousands of promotion running around, is that we can also capture the receipts of the users. And with this, we create a crowdsourcing pricing database, which we can inform the users if there is any similar product which has a better pricing deal around, that it will immediately inform the user and notify that that product that which you're frequently buying is is available somewhere in a 500 meters away at that price, kind of thing, so that it will keep the user always engaged with the product. So
2.5 minutes.
Sorry?
2.5 minutes.
All right. Okay. So it means that I didn't make it some good summary. So our case is that we had already made the traction with some companies. We had active subscribers, and we have a team of 3 co-founders, which knows each other more than 12 years and have already made 3 startups and 1 exit. So this is, in a nutshell, what we are doing.
Good exit? You don't have to tell me how much, but big or small, acqui-hire?
The exit, it's in a millions range.
Good. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, sounds good. So definitely, like, the highlight of this pitch was the key customers, and it's heavy, it's long, right? You got cut off, so there's too much on the product. There's just too much about the product. None of us are buying what you're selling, right? None of us in the judges, and nobody in the audience is buying what you're selling. So you need to, like, cut out a lot of the detail and say right away, like, in the beginning. So Dave, someone asked tips about Dave and Steve. Traction first. If you come out of the building and go, "Hi, what's your lovely name?"
Ahmed.
Ahmed. Hi, I'm Ahmed. I'm this co-founder of, what's your company name?
Tanixum.
And we are the marketing, like, promotions platform that's powering McDonald's in Istanbul. Like, people will just stop what they're doing and listen to you, right? Just
great. Thank you.
Bring it up. Like, move whatever traction you have to the start. If you have no, like, actual traction or revenue, then, like, brag right away. Like, "Hi, I'm Ahmed. Like, I've had 3 startups and a successful exit. Like, just front it." Now, that's not always going to work, right? But if you want any tips about Dave, is he, like, and the thing about Dave is, if you're going to brag about it up front, it has to be really good. So if the exit's kind of medium, put it at the end. Put it at the end. But, like, the McDonald's thing, the McDonald's customer, that brand recognition that you can sell into, like, people, that's very validating, and I would front that, and then I would cut out a lot of the details, and then talk more about, like, where do you see this kind of sitting in, like, instead of talking just features, talk about, all right, like, this is how the, like, marketing promotion agency is going to change, like, the market's going to change, and this is where we're going to be. So that's my feedback for you. But you have, and also, are you making any money?
Yes.
How much?
It's not so much significant.
Okay, but you're making revenue.
Yes, we are doing. Yes.
Is it growing? Like, is it just enterprise sales, so you don't really have, like, a steady growth? So you just have, like, or is it monthly and recurring?
It's in the couple of $10,000 per month range.
That's huge. You're crazy. You should do that. Who here wants to have tens of thousands of recurring monthly revenue? Like,
okay.
Don't say, like, that. This is the thing that I drives me crazy.
Yeah, but if you're thinking about the big retail market, it's very, very small for the.
Well, but for a startup and what you're able to create, and think about this, and, like, you're competing against all these other startups. Some of them are pre-launch.
Okay.
Bring this up. Bring this up.
We'll do that.
Okay? It's crazy for you not to, and whatever traction you have, like, don't wait, don't bury it, don't save the climax of your pitch for, like, right when you're about to end, because nobody has been paying attention to you at all.
Okay. All right.
Right? Like,
perfect.
If you have something interesting about you, like, bring it up, and then go back to it. So Dave always likes to talk about traction sandwich.
Okay. Perfect.
Like, so Ali from Islamabad, there's no, like, phrase. Honestly, don't say buzzwords. Like, don't say things that Dave and Steve, like, say, because they'll be like, "Oh, this guy, like, is just trying to, like, get us to like them." No, like, they just, like, clear. They don't like buzzwords. They don't like marketing speak. Sandwich. What is a traction sandwich? Oh, so traction sandwich is when you come out and you bring up some traction, like, "Hi, I'm Andrea. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Indinero. We are the company that's helping over 5,000 small businesses with their accounting, taxes, and payroll." So that's, like, traction. Now you talk about the problem, you talk about the solution, and you bring up the traction again. You're like, "And we are making, X of revenue per month, and it's growing 60% month over month for the last 6 months." Boom, slide. That's a traction sandwich, because I gave you some traction, I talked and I gave you more traction. Like, people care. If you have traction, that's what people care about, right? Okay, so the guy who has the of course. It was good to hear your pitch. For the guy who has a vision pitch, that's fine. Don't, and again, humble brag. So Dave, he loves to tell humble people to brag, but then if you're too much on the brag side, he'll tell you to be humble. It's horrible. Like, it's like, where am I? Like, what side of like bragging and humble should I be? This is going to depend a lot on your personality too. So don't say that I told you to brag. Just, it depends. Like, try it out with different friends and family. No, and okay, take it back. If your friends and family in your market are very anti-bragging, like, that's going to be a problem. But definitely don't be like, kind of, try it out with a few different audiences, hopefully international, because Dave and Steve, they don't want to hear like a pitch that's all market, all problem, all solution, and at the very end, it's like this awesome traction. Like, they want to know, they want to hear about it, they want to know what's like exciting about you earlier.
All right, Andre will be next.
Okay. I really like the questions because I'm not going to get to everybody's pitch. So, like, if people have questions and they want to write them in chat, I'm happy to just like type and listen and do all of that.
Andre, are you online?
Yep.
All right, we are listening to you.
Hi, Andrea.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. So I want you to say that my next travel I will plan with Trip My Dream, because I do know the co-founder and I do trust him. He's Andre. It's easy because you're Andrea. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, easy. All right, great.
Yeah, easy.
So
yeah.
Trip My Dream?
Tripmydream.com. Yeah, that's easy. So after 10 years working for corporations like Samsung, British Petroleum, and others, and traveling more than 180 days a year, I knew everything about travel, like in a movie Up in the Air with George Clooney. And I decided that my own business must be related to the travel industry. And I did a lot of research and found out two great opportunities. The first one is a $2 trillion market. This is number one. The number two, there are unfixed problems which are unfixed by the current players. So I decided to sell my apartment in Kiev, and I added my personal savings. So the total investment in the business is like $300K of my personal savings. Why? Because there is a real problem. Half of travelers spend more than 30 days visiting 20 plus websites trying to get all relevant information and deals for their next trip. So the market for this, guys, is $200 billion. It's a huge market. And no one is doing this, so we are number one. Trip My Dream consolidates all necessary emotional and rational content in one place. So we are like Skyscanner plus Booking.com plus TripAdvisor. No one did this. So you just have to enter your dates, type of vacation and budget, and you will get the deals immediately with emotional and rational content for each destination. We launched for Ukraine merely just for test this May, and we already had in August 150K visits. 40% of those visits are returning customers in August. We already have 52 fans on the Facebook, more than 10,000 email subscribers. And I would say that after launch, we have thousands of revenues already. And our business model is that we get commission from Booking.com, airlines, and other online travel agencies. And in July, I pitched the CEO of Priceline Group. If you know Priceline, Booking.com, and Kayak, Darren Huston, he is the CEO. And he said, come on, Andre, you're still tiny, but you have opportunities. Please come back to me in 6 months with your KPIs, and we will discuss the business. So Trip My Dream is a destination meta search. Andrea?
Cool. Okay. So this is on a way you like took a lot of my advice where you brought in like the traction, I think, is there, but like for example, like the Facebook stat, you can get rid of that. Okay, people really only care about certain things. I like the return stat, like the fact that 40% of the visitors came as return. That's interesting. Okay, there's something there. Now, the problem with your space is that travel is extremely crowded. So, I've traveled and talked to startups in Brazil. I'm going to be in Nigeria, Ghana, Istanbul, and Poland. And I guarantee you, I will be pitched two things: food startups, travel startups. When you're in like these kind of really crowded spaces, you really have to drive home differentiation more than other companies, right? So like the freelance journalism company, there's not like a ton of those out there. So he can kind of like focus. But for you with travel, it's like, why are people going to use this over all the other stuff out there? And I know that you said that it's better, but just being a little bit better than what's out there that's not very compelling to be honest with you as an investor. So it's like, what is it? And the fact that you have traction is good. So like the sooner you can bring that up, the better. But that would be my kind of advice. And also it's long, right? You got cut off. So figuring out like how to say what you do quicker.
Okay.
I mean, every pitch I've heard so far, like, could use a lot of just presentation delivery, like help, of course. But in terms of the high level ideas, I think that people like are doing what I'm used to hearing, which is they're just talking about problem and solution so much, but it's like it's not about just that. It's about, okay, well, how are you going to distribute? Like, how are you going to get people away from all of the OTAs and the things that people are used to using? That's the hardest thing. How do you change that user behavior?
Okay, got it.
All right. And Mohammed is the last one, probably, Andrea. We have nearly 7 minutes for an hour. Maybe if you have time, we may get a couple of more, but I think most of the entrepreneurs understand probably the 2.5 minute pitches. So, Mohammed, are you online? Mohammed?
Hey everyone.
Yes, we can hear you now.
It says muted
Yes.
again.
Yes, it is.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Hey guys, this is Mohammed Ahmed from Pakistan, and I bring to you ohmyguide.tv. ohmyguide solves two problems from two different industry segments at the same time. We live in an era where television penetration has increased by many folds during the past few years, and only in Pakistan, where we belong, it's been the number of TV channels has grown from just 3 in 2000 to 130 in 2010-11. So that first poses a challenge for everybody to make the 2 hours in a day that they watch TV a quality time for them and make the best use of it. So ohmyguide.tv allows people to actually favorite their like or add their favorite programs to their favorite list, and also set reminders for the airtime. It also allows you to interact with other viewers of the program socially by getting you to the program page where you can actually stream the links where available, and you can discuss the program live with other viewers in real time. So this is one aspect of it that this application makes your TV viewing time worthwhile. On the side, the corporate side, The TV rating systems currently deployed have got a very small sample size. For instance, in Pakistan, there are only 1,000 people meters representing a population of 200 million. So once Oh My Guide becomes popular in public, people start following TV through this, we can compute real-time TV ratings, and we can channelize the $6 or $10 billion media industry into more useful or informed industry investments. So this is the basic crux of the product Oh My Guide.
Okay. So this pitch is also so it sounds like it's not. Is it launched? That's not, right?
It's almost ready for launch.
Okay, so it's not launched. So you're kind of talking about like what you're planning to launch. Do you have any customers lined up or like ready to go, or have you done any of that?
Well, we've conducted market researches for that. We've talked to media houses and advertising agencies informally about it, and they love the idea. But of course, we do not have any commitments as of now until we launch and prove our concept to them.
What about your team gives you the right connections to get into these companies?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you properly. Can you repeat?
Are there people on the team? So you guys are from Pakistan,
Yeah.
and you have so do you guys come from the world where like you have a bunch of leads and like connections and relationships?
Well, yes, we come from, the product comes from a company called Syntex. The founders of Syntex are actually the founders of Oh My Guide as well. And Syntex's business is telecom location-based services and location-based advertising. So yes, we've been in contact with several of the leading advertising companies in Pakistan and several media houses as well.
Okay. Okay, I definitely would okay, so because that's really what I'm thinking about during your pitch. It's like, all right, like this sounds good, this sounds interesting, but there's like this is the problem with some of the vision ideas. Like it's hard to, it's hard to give feedback because I don't know if it's going to work because it's not launched yet. So when you pitch, definitely like I think this is not just your pitch, but every pitch I've heard, just it needs to be clearer, like exactly what you do, exactly where you're going to sit in the market, exactly what other people are doing without you, and then exactly like kind of the opportunity in that, and how it can grow outside. I was just in Brazil, and there's there's a stereotype that like, oh, kids don't think globally. So it's like, how does this fit into the market? Like, but it's honestly less words on everything else. So again, I can't like play back your pitch, unfortunately. Usually when I do pitch coaching here, I have people take a video and then we just like go back and I can tell you exactly where. But right away, it just needs to be shorter, clearer. And since you don't have traction like yet, because you're not launched yet, definitely sell like that you have all these connections with people that you will sell to, because that is like very important, right? Like if you were just coming into this industry, didn't know anybody, I would definitely not be very excited about this company, right? Because it's like, it's like, well, what evidence do I have that people are going to, want to use this? And having a relationship is one way, but being able to kind of just like tell that will help you.
Right. Thank you so much, Andrea.
Yeah, of course. And I hope for everybody too, just making a clearer and slower kind of delivery of what you do will help all of you. Just last minute questions. Whoever said they failed, let me see. I'm trying to find that question. What do you think? There's someone who asked about, they have an investment society, which is a sponsor. I don't know what you mean by the best way to describe a team. Like, just say, hey, like we've been in startups. You don't have to say that you failed. You don't have to like overly talk about the failure, but you can say, hey, this is our second startup together as a team. We've learned a lot, and like now we're ready to go through that. That's a message that I can get behind. And your target audience, it's going to be local. Like, it's not that like thinking globally is not the same as like launching locally. Launching locally is absolutely important. I'm not saying that you should try to like say you have a target market that's global. That's a horrible thing to do. But when you talk about like Pakistan on the TV, like how is this changing in other countries in the region, for example? Like how is this, I need to understand more of that. And Dave and Steve will as well.
So, Andrea, I mean, probably it is 1 hour, and
yes, unfortunately, I must go.
Yes, thank you very much. I mean, it was really helpful for all startups who are going to attend to the Startup Istanbul Challenge, in my point of view. Additionally, we recorded your session. If you allow us, we will also share with the other rest of the group this webinar.
Sure, no problem.
That will be great. So I think you have Andrea's email. If you want to ask more questions, she will be here in 2 weeks in Istanbul, and also hope to welcome all the entrepreneurs in Istanbul at before the event in the mentorship sessions. Andrea, thank you for the webinar and all the great presentation. Hope to see you in Istanbul soon.
Burak, they're talking about the Slack group. Happy to get added to the Slack group.
All right, we have the Slack group.
I can't promise that I will be on it that much, but I will try.
We will invite you to the Slack group just right after the webinar.
Cool. Hey, everybody, good luck. I look forward to meeting all of you. Please, if you are on this webinar, come say hi to me. I have no friends in Istanbul, so I need people to come say hi, and good luck. Good luck on the pitches, and see you all then. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.